Hello book lovers, and welcome back or welcome to Nat Cat's Bookish Cafe. I'm here today to start my third weekly reading vlog for the month of December. So it is a little bit before noon on Sunday. This vlog will go through the end of Saturday. Next week, if you haven't watched the first two vlogs, I will go ahead and link those down below. What I've been doing this December is each week I've been taking on a different challenge to help me read a bit more as I make my way through my December TBR. In the first week, my challenge was to read 100 pages a day, and in week 2, I was attempting to read the number of pages that equated to the number of times I had picked up my phone. What I will be doing this week is I will be trying to read for a total of 24 hours over the course of the next 7 days, which equals about 3.5 hours a day. That might not seem like a whole lot, but I really have not been on my audiobook game whatsoever, so I don't know how much I can rely on audiobooks. And also my mom is actually leaving tomorrow to Germany and she will not be back until the 30th, which means that I will obviously have a lot more to do around the house. Specifically when it comes to cooking, I actually don't cook during the week. I only cook on Sundays. So I will have to do some planning around that to make sure that me and my dad have food. Despite me not getting off until 5 and going to the gyms on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will definitely not be cooking on those days because otherwise we will be eating at like 8 o'clock at night, which we're kind of like 5:30 to 6 o'clock eaters, which is why my mom is usually the one who does the cooking, because by the time I get off work, it's dinner time. That being said, we are gonna do our best to keep the house up, keep food in our stomachs, and to do some reading, and also keep on top of my hobbies and my full-time job. And I don't know how people do it. I feel like every household should have either someone who works part-time like my mom or someone who doesn't work at all, because otherwise I literally don't know how you get things done. So I'm very impressed with you. But as far as my reading goes, I'm gonna quickly show you what my bingo board is looking like at this very moment. As you can see, we are doing pretty well at this point, seeing as we are just over the halfway point of the month. And the book that I'm currently working on is Redemption by Kenya Wright, which will get me another bingo once I finish that. I'm currently 119 pages into this book, so I'm about 27% through it. I haven't done any reading yet, but after I do this update, I'm hoping to sit down for at least an hour, eat some lunch, and do some reading during that time before I start prepping for some grocery shopping and cooking dinner. But what this book is about is we are following Ebony, and she and her 3 children have been on the run from her husband for the last 3 years. He is a very abusive and dangerous man, so do check trigger warnings before going into this book. At the beginning of this book, he unfortunately finds them again, and after a very desperate escape, they find themselves on the road again during a snowstorm. The storm gets so bad that they end up finding themselves trapped at Yoshiro's house. He welcomes them in, obviously, since they don't have any other options. He lives on a pretty isolated, large property in Tenino, Washington. I'm a Washingtonian, so it's always fun to read books that are set in my home state. And Yoshiro is actually a retired criminal. I want to say he was working for the Italian mafia, despite him being Japanese. And one day that mafia, as punishment for him not completing a task, killed his wife and child. And so he killed them in retaliation and fled Chicago to leave that life behind. After finding out more about Ebony and her kids' situation. He seems pretty set on protecting them and killing her husband. So this is technically supposed to be a Christmas story, at least it's set around Christmas. But as I said in my past vlog, I would say it is a Christmas movie the way that Die Hard, hi Loki, the way that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. So far, it's definitely not giving Christmas vibes, but I am enjoying it so far. I think that the pacing is a little bit quick. I hear you, but you're interrupting. That's very rude. That's very rude. He's hoping I feed him. What was I saying? So pretty much the pacing is a little fast for my taste, just because they've only known each other for a few hours, and Yoshiro is like, yes, I will kill for you and your children. And Ebony is like, yeah, I will trust you with my children, despite the fact that I've been in an abusive relationship for the last few years and should not really have trust in men and things like that. But otherwise, it still is a story that is keeping my attention, and I'm very interested to see where it goes. And I'm looking forward to the husband dying. Yep. All I want for Christmas is this guy to die. Anyway, I am gonna go ahead and make myself some lunch because I did not have breakfast yet and I'm famished. And then we're gonna see if we can do an hour of a reading. I will probably try to check in with you later tonight. But again, welcome to the vlog, and wish me luck, because it's gonna probably be a stressful couple weeks, to be honest. All right, guys, it is Monday evening, a little past 9:30, and I figured I'd finally come in with a checkup. I know I didn't check in with you last night or earlier today. I've just been doing stuff here and there, nothing huge, but that is life. My mom did leave this afternoon for Germany, so last night I did end up spending some time watching TV with my parents instead of reading, but I will go through my current stats in just a little bit. As far as today goes, I did start the day off by editing my video that's going up on Friday, which is my mid-month wrap up, just so that I don't have to worry about that for the rest of the week, and I can focus either on reading or on getting up to date on editing this vlog. One thing I did decide, I was kind of like going back and forth on if I wanted to count my audiobook listening time to this goal, and I decided I will, because I'm pretty sure that's the only way that I will manage to read 3.5 hours outside of work or even during work. Otherwise it would never happen. So I did end up picking up my audiobook a little bit today, and I will talk about that in a moment. But as far as redemption goes, I am on page 365. I'm pretty optimistic that I will finish it tomorrow. I have less than 100 pages, and often with Kindle books, the book is not actually as long as it says it is, because there's all that back of the book content, like acknowledgements and whatnot. So really optimistic that I will finish that up tomorrow, which is exciting. I am enjoying this book. I think the romance is finally starting to grow on me a bit more. For a good chunk of the book, I feel like I was more invested in the revenge plot line of these two kind of deciding that they're gonna kill her husband, and Yoshiro kind of going after this man and all that jazz, and that was very entertaining to read about. When it came to the romance, I sometimes felt like Yoshiro's feelings were so strong and somewhat possessive that I felt like his behavior was a little bit on the toxic side, which, considering she is coming from an abusive relationship, I was always like a little bit nervous about that and wondering how someone who actually came from an abusive relationship would act towards that behavior. But at the end of the day, he definitely cares about her. He definitely cares about the kids. He's willing to do anything for her, and she gains a lot of strength from him, and the kids really feel safe and comfortable around him. So he has my star of approval, and I'm looking forward to seeing how their romance ends. It does seem like there is still the possibility of some trouble. Like I said, we still have about possibly up to like 80 pages or so left of the book, but this is a romance, so I'm hoping for a happy ending. And I'm sure it'll end with them all being around the Christmas tree, because right now it's not giving Christmas vibes, but at the same time, Christmas is brought up every once in a while. So if you're looking for a darker Christmas story that's still a romance and not like a thriller or something, then you might want to check this one out. I am having a fun time with it, and I'm working through it relatively quickly. That being said, yesterday I ended up reading 127 pages of this book. So like I said, definitely a quick read, but I only ended up reading 2 hours and 48 minutes. I may have mentioned that if I want to get to 24 hours, I will try and read about 3.5 hours a day. Obviously, I didn't achieve that, but we did end up watching The Sound of Music, or at least part of it. I don't even know if I've ever watched that entire movie, because it's like 3 hours long. But we watched part of The Sound of Music last night, and I love the beginning. It's so much fun, but once the war scenes start, I'm kind of like, I'm gonna leave now. So that was why I didn't read as much yesterday. And then as for today, I read a total of 211 pages. This includes the, I think it was 92 pages that I listened to from my audiobook, and I'll get back to that in a second. But I did read a total of 3 hours and 35 minutes today, so really just barely reached that 3.5 hour goal. And I have read a total of 338 pages and read for a total of 6 hours and 23 minutes. If I wanted to be on track with my 3.5 hours a day, I would want to be at 7 hours, but I feel like we're only about half an hour behind schedule right now, which isn't too terrible, and hopefully I don't fall behind too much. As far as the audiobook goes, I'm reading Love Light Farms. I started this in the first week vlog, and then I just never picked it up in the second week vlog. So if you forgot about it, here it is again. So I am at like 75% of it. Things are definitely heating up. The relationship is getting spicier, and there have been kind of these, I don't want to say crimes, but like forms of vandalism against the Christmas tree farm that seem to be ramping up a little bit. And our character seems to finally be realizing that it's not just a string of bad luck, but that someone may be purposefully interfering with her business. I have a feeling like I know who it is, and if I'm right, the author made it like super obvious, but if not, I will be surprised because I don't know who else it could be. I should probably tell you what this book is about in case you didn't watch that first vlog. And this is a romance novel. It is a friends to lovers fake dating situation. We have a woman who is the owner of a Christmas tree farm, and it's facing some financial difficulties. So she has kind of signed up for a competition that an influencer is doing. So the influencer would come to the farm and would kind of share about the farm on their blog or whatever they have going on, and then they have the opportunity to win $100,000 if her followers vote them the best location or whatever. And when she signed up for this, she had kind of been drunk, I guess, while she was doing it, and put that she ran the Christmas tree farm with her boyfriend because this influencer seems to often really like a romantic side plot to her stories. And since she doesn't actually have a boyfriend, she asked her best friend Luca or Lucas to pretend to be her boyfriend. And obviously they are at this point falling in love if they haven't already been in love with each other for like years and years, as it usually is with scenarios like this. I would say the first half was kind of like so-so, but now that things are heating up a little bit, I am enjoying it quite a bit more. So I'm having fun with this story, and hopefully since things are picking up in the story, I will actually want to pick up the audio book a bit more often and can finish it up sooner rather than later. I think that is all I have to update you on. I will probably check in with you once I finish my book Redemption, and we will see what I read next. I haven't decided yet. I haven't decided if I want to start my Christmas book or if I want to wait until closer to Christmas to read it. So I'm like actually reading it on Christmas Day. I mean, it's kind of hard because we're not really celebrating Christmas this year since half of my family is on the other side of the ocean. But it still might be nice to read a Christmas story on Christmas Day. So I may pick up something else before then. But we will cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, I'm gonna get ready for bed, and I will talk to you tomorrow. So it is Tuesday. I am coming to the end of my lunch break, but I want to go ahead and film an update real quick because I did go ahead and finish Redemption just a little while ago while I was eating my lunch. And so I just want to wrap up that book. So I read the last 63 pages of it today. I've read a little under an hour and a half so far, and I think I'm gonna give this book 3.5 stars. I would say it's a relatively high 3.5, but 4 stars just doesn't feel right to me. There were a lot of parts of this book that I really enjoyed. I did enjoy the revenge aspect of the story. I felt it was very entertaining. It was slightly gruesome, but it wasn't too much for me. So hopefully it's not too much for you either, but I would still check some trigger warnings before getting into it. The romance I did start to enjoy, but not until like after the 80% mark of the book. So this is a slow burn romance, and I think I kind of mentioned that Yushiro's behavior wasn't always working for me, but towards the end I did really start to enjoy the romance, and I thought that the smut was relatively well done as well. But otherwise, I thought it was a sexy time, and I thought that it had a very sweet and heartwarming ending, which is exactly what you want for a Christmas romance, though calling it a Christmas romance is definitely a stretch. So I had fun with it. I'm really glad that I went ahead and read it. Then as far as my next read goes, I know yesterday I was kind of like going back and forth if I wanted to read my next Christmas book, and initially I was kind of gonna hold off on that because I wanted to read it on Christmas. But at the end of the day, I don't care that much if I'm reading like a Christmas book on Christmas, but this vlog is supposed to come out on Christmas Day, so I figured I would go ahead and read my Christmas book now so that it comes out on the vlog that comes out at Christmas. So Merry Christmas, by the way. And that book is going to be Let Your Hearts Be Light by Faye Quinn. And this is a male-male romance. It's a contemporary. We seem to be following two single dads. And I have to admit, at this point, I don't know their names yet. So when I was describing this book in my TBR, I just called them Grumpy Dad and Sunshine Dad. So that's just how I'm going to refer to them for now as well. So we have a Grumpy Dad, and his son actually has a crush on the daughter of Sunshine Dad. And it seems like every year their small town, I'm assuming is a small town, does this kind of buddy system around Christmas where you get a buddy and then you just do holiday activities with them. And it seems that Grumpy Dad's son has some control over who gets picked, and he allows his son to rig it so that he gets set up with the Sunshine Dad as his buddy. So because dads are spending more time together, his son will have an excuse to spend more time with the daughter. And then obviously the two of them will fall in love. So I'm looking forward to it. It sounds like it'll be a very sweet romance, unlike the Christmas romance that I just read. But hey, you know, we're getting a little bit of everything in our reading experience, and I probably won't check in with you again today. We will see after work. I'm obviously I'm planning on going to the gym, and then I do need to run to the grocery store again because I need to grab a couple things for the next few days. And then I don't really have too much on the docket other than I haven't made the thumbnail yet for my mid-month wrap-up, which is going up on Fridays. So I should probably go ahead and do that today, so I just get that out of the way completely. And then tomorrow I have a Christmas party at work, so it's technically only a half day. I do work from home, but I really only live maybe like 25-30 minutes away from where my office used to be, and there's a Christmas party that's going to be happening during the second half of the day. So on my lunch break, I'm going to drive down there, go to that. I do have a dentist appointment at 4, so I will be leaving that at 3:30. So lots of stuff going on. I'll have to remember to bring my floss and my toothbrush and my mouthwash so I don't show up to the dentist with like pie in my teeth or anything like that. All right, well, I will go ahead and check in with you tomorrow with my initial thoughts on this new book. So it is Thursday afternoon, a little bit before 11:30. I did not end up checking in with you yesterday because I was kind of on the move a lot and didn't really have time to stop and gather my thoughts and update you guys or anything like that. I also did not do a lot of reading. I think I might have mentioned that yesterday I had a Christmas party. So during my lunch break, I ended up driving to my office and then I was there from 1 to 3:30, and then I went to a dentist appointment, and then I got home a little bit before 5 and then started dinner, and then me and my dad ended up watching, what was it called, Rise of the Guardians or whatever. And so I only ended up doing like a little under an hour and a half of reading yesterday. I know I could have like picked up my audiobook, but for some reason I don't like listening to audiobooks in the car. I think I just struggle to fully hear them clearly and whatnot with all the road noise and all that jazz going on around it. So I think I only read about 50 pages yesterday. Not much done. But it was still a good day despite that. No cavities. So yay for that. As far as my reading, I am still working on Let Your Hearts Be Light. I'm on page 134. I've read for about an hour today, and we are gonna be heading up to Seattle in a little bit to go check out the Christmas market, but I will try to get some more reading done later tonight, hopefully. But so far I'm having a really good time with this book. I think that it's really sweet. It's made me laugh a few times. I really enjoy the father's relationships with their children throughout this, especially Paxton. So Paxton is the grumpy dad, and Baxter the baker is the sunshine dad. So they both have X's in their names, but especially Paxton and his son Nathan. Nathan's mother is not really interested in being his mother or anything like that, and Paxton just loves his son so much, and he's such a sweet boy as well that we just had a birthday scene, and it was just like the most heartwarming moment. I was just like, oh my gosh, I feel so good and happy. And this is definitely a much more joyful Christmas story. I think we're just kind of starting to get into December at this point, so there's definitely been some Christmas vibes, but it's not like Christmas is like right around the corner or anything like that. But I'm having a really good time with that. Baxter is really opening up to Paxton so far, because one of the things that Paxton didn't really like about him, because he was like, I feel like he's always fake smiling and fake being nice, and it's not because he's secretly an asshole, it's because he's secretly miserable and very anxious all the time, and he's just trying to be the best father that he can, and he's trying to be a good example for his daughter, because his daughter, as I may have mentioned or may not have mentioned, because I don't know how often I've checked in with you about this book, that his daughter is actually his niece, and his sister and his brother-in-law had died when she was only 4. So he really never had the chance to grieve his sister, because he was like, okay, I need to step into this role of being a father, and I need to be strong for her because she just lost both of her parents very suddenly, and he is now finding a safe and accepting place in Paxton where he's able to kind of explore that grief, and it looks like he's going to start getting into some therapy and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to just seeing his growth in that as he learns to not just take care of others, but also to take care of himself. The romance is definitely starting to heat up. I'm trying to see, I'm 44% through the book right now, and they just recently had their first kiss, and it was a hot one. So I'm definitely looking forward to things heating up even more between them, and of course us getting more of those Christmas vibes and those father-son, father-daughter scenes throughout the story. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say on it now. You'll probably see some b-roll from the Christmas market. I'm hoping that it's nice, because You have to pay like $20 just to get into it. So if it's not nice, well, you just gotta pay for experiences sometimes. But yeah, that's my update for now. Sorry I didn't check in with you yesterday. It was just kind of a bit of a hectic day with like a lot of stuff going on in different places. But I will either check in with you later tonight or hopefully early tomorrow on Friday. need proof about how weak my body is. I feel like today, and it's Friday, I'm so tired. I'm so done. I just want to lay there and do absolutely nothing, which I can't do because I'm at work. But on Wednesday, I had the Christmas party and the dentist appointment. And then yesterday, we went up to Seattle and I had a good time with all that. But like today, my body's like, we've done 2 days of things that we usually don't do. So we need a day of rest. And I'm like, well, I have to work, so we can't rest. So yes, I am very tired, and I think I did like 15 minutes of reading this morning. I am on my 10 o'clock break, so not much reading done today, but yesterday I did 2 hours and 48 minutes of reading and read 118 pages, so that's not too bad. We ended up getting home, it must have been like after 6 o'clock, or actually closer to 7 o'clock. I think it was closer to 7 o'clock last night from Seattle. It was a great time. The weather was like perfect. It was super foggy here, and then we drove through a few foggy areas. It would kind of be like sunny, foggy, and we were like, okay, what's it gonna be like when we get there? And it was sunny. And it was perfect and it was beautiful, and we went to the Christmas market, which was decent, and then we went to is it called the Chihuly Glass Museum? I don't remember what it's called or how to pronounce his name. I've been there a couple times already, but it never ceases to amaze me. It's so beautiful, especially that piece that's in the big glass building where you can like see the Space Needle through it as well. It's just very impressive. So if you're ever in Seattle, I suggest checking that out. I think it's definitely worth it. But as far as my reading goes, I am currently on page 216, 71% through, considering I don't think I'm going to go to the gym today. I'm just too tired. I'm just too tired to pretend like I care about working out, and I don't feel like spending an hour at the gym, like half-assing it and wasting my time. So we're not going to do that. But maybe we can go ahead and finish this book tonight, depending on if me and my dad want to watch something. But I would say so far I'm still enjoying it a decent amount. There have been a few sex scenes, and there's parts about the sex scenes that I enjoy, and parts that are a miss for me where I'm just like, I don't really like when people say that, or when they explain that in that way. It's kind of leaning more towards like TMI than sexy kind of situation. So I'm still having a really decent time with like their relationship. I think that they're really cute together, and I really like, and it's hard because their names are so similar. So Paxton is the grump, and I've just really been enjoying his character because he was such a grumpy guy, and he's just mellowing out so much. He's really just melting and turning into this sweetheart, and he just loves his son so much, and he feels so strongly about Baxter, and I've just really been enjoying his development throughout the story. He's just working really hard to make sure that Baxter is doing okay, that he's, handling his anxiety better, and that he's just working his way through any sort of anxiety attacks that he may be happening, and he just shows so much patience and understanding to those around him. So I think he's a really great character, and I've really been enjoying him. Baxter, I've been enjoying as well. He has been working on his anxiety, but he's been to one therapy session, so he still has it. So it wasn't like he went to therapy and he's like, oh, I'm cured, everything's fine now, or even that, oh, I'm in a relationship, so everything's better. And while it's definitely benefited him to have someone there who understands and kind of walks him through and kind of keeps him calm, he still definitely has a lot of work to do, which is realistic. So that has been nice as well. And they have just gone to a ski lodge because apparently the way that this whole buddy system works is that you're supposed to go to 3 events where you can like choose to do whatever you want. You can go to the movies together, Christmas market together, go ice skating together, or whatever. And then at the end, everybody kind of goes to the ski lodge for a night or something. and that is where they are currently, and they are going to share a bed there, so I'm assuming there's going to be some more sexy time, but also some cute moments in the snow. They're about to go ice skating. It's going to be cute. It's a Christmas vibe. This book is pretty much giving exactly what I want. So we're having a good time. As far as my audiobook, I haven't listened to it yet today. I am planning on finishing it today because I only have an hour left and I listened to it on 2x speed. So I'm sure that I will probably finish that even before lunch. I'm currently in the middle of a YouTube video, but once I finish that up, I think I will go ahead and transition over to my audiobook and finish that up. So I may check in with you guys later today to give you an update or my final thoughts on that book. But for now, I'm gonna lay here and maybe read a couple pages before my break ends in like 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna struggle my way through the rest of the work week. Luckily tonight, it's pizza. So, no cooking for me. Sure I'm actually filming, because last time I tried to film while I was doing my makeup, I forgot to press play. So I see the little timer beeping, so we're gonna go ahead and move forward with this. It is Saturday morning. I'm getting ready because I need to film a video today, and I just wanted to check in with you real quick to give you an update, because I never updated you yesterday after I finished my audiobook. My throat got kind of like, oh, all right, sorry. My dad called because he's out shopping for food for Christmas Day. Even though it's just the two of us, we still kind of want to do a little something. But anyway, I don't remember what I was saying, but I'm here to update you on my audiobook, which I finished, as well as my physical read. I finished both of them yesterday. So as far as the audiobook goes, which was Love Light Farms, I decided to give it 3.5 stars. I will admit that it seemed like it was going to be a 4-star read for like a little bit, because I felt like the story started out kind of slow, bland, nothing super special, but then I was like, oh, I'm starting to actually enjoy this and enjoy the couple and all this jazz. And then the third act breakup happened, and it was like such a ridiculous thing where our female character just decided to extract herself from reality for a couple pages and then plopped herself back into reality and was like, oh, whoops. And I was like, are you serious right now? Like, how did you not know what was going on? How did you literally see the clear signs in front of you and were not able to read them? So that was a little frustrating. I would say that it was a rather dumb and extreme version of miscommunication. And I know my girl's got her problems, and so maybe that's why that happened. But at the same time, I'm like, that was a little ridiculous. That was a little too much. So it did lose a star because of that. But otherwise, it was a cute Christmas story and it kind of did what it did. So I feel like a rather average rating is good for it. I was kind of going back and forth on if I wanted to continue with this series, and I think that I will. I did put it on my series tracker. I think I will give at least one more book in the series a try, and if it's another 3.5, I might like peace out. But you know, I think that the romance was decent and definitely had potential. So hopefully the more she writes, the better it gets, kind of situation. So that is that on that. And as far as Let Your Hearts Be Light. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I feel like I don't really have much more to say on it that I haven't already said. I will say that I enjoyed pretty much everything about the book except the sex scenes, which is a bit of a bummer. I just really felt like so many times I was kind of like, ugh, that's a little like too descriptive for my taste. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy an explicit sex scene, but these were just going like above and beyond. And I was like, I personally did not need to know that. But otherwise, I really thought that the couple was really cute. I really enjoyed watching them together. I really enjoyed watching them with their kids. And I definitely think, especially towards the end, it just had those feel-good Christmas vibes. You have like the bakery, you have some small town vibes, like not too much, but just a little bit. And it was just giving kind of like found family vibes, where both of them had always hoped to have a family, and it not just be them and their kid. I mean, obviously both of them love their kid to hell and back, but still they both really wanted to just have like a romantic partner that they could just love and raise a family with. And it was just really sweet to gradually watch as they got that. So overall, I would go ahead and suggest this book to read. I'm definitely going to check out the next book in this series. Probably not until next Christmas though, because I think the series is called something like Christmas Daddies or something like that. So definitely not going to check that out this year. I don't think so. But I have some other books by the author as well that I can read throughout the year. I believe most of their stuff is on KU, but I'm not sure if all their stuff is or just this series. And as far as my next read, I'm going to be starting The Ghost Bride, I believe it was called. And I don't think I'm going to start that for a little while because I'm going to go ahead and film first. So I think what I'll do is that I'll go ahead and start that at some point today, and then I will do my best to check in with you and give you both a synopsis as well as my initial thoughts. The good news is that I have officially achieved my goal of wanting 1 horizontal and 1 vertical bingo. In fact, I have 3 bingos total so far, so things are going pretty well and I'm very proud of myself. Today is the 23rd, so we still have a few days, and I do have Christmas Day off obviously, but I don't have any other days off around that just because my family isn't here. I didn't think to take any time off or anything, so I will be at work the day after Christmas. Wah wah. But that is all I have to say for now. I'm gonna finish getting ready and hopefully you see me later today. So it is a little bit around 1 o'clock. I am done filming and I have just read for about 50 minutes. I wanted to read for about an hour, but if I sit on this couch anymore, my back is like killing me, probably because I was also sitting while I filmed the video that I filmed because I had to do stuff on my computer as well. So I think I'm gonna get up and move around a little bit and just do some puttering around the house to clean things up and whatnot. But I have gotten to what page is this? 30 of The Ghost Bride by Yangtze Chu. So this is a historical paranormal story, I would say. We are following Lilan, and she is the member of a family that is down on its luck financially. It seems like it's just her and her father, and she has an ama, and this ama is someone I would say who did a lot to raise her. She is not related to her, but she was her mother's servant, and after her mother died when she was like 4 or something, this ama did a lot to raise her, and it seems like her father got smallpox and it caused a lot of disfiguration to his face, and he kind of became a bit of a recluse, and so he did not keep up with his businesses and whatnot, and they've been losing a lot of money. One of the wealthy families in this town has approached him to ask if Lilan would like to marry their son who died 9 months ago, and so far she has not agreed to this, and her father seems not to really be interested in it, to kind of regret even bringing it up, and the ama is like insulted that they would even ask, because it seems like this is not something that is very commonly done. So far in the first 30 pages, we have followed Lilan as she was invited to the Lim household to play mahjong, I believe it's called, just so that the mother of the son could kind of see her and interact with her a little bit. She was asking her a lot of questions, especially about like her love life. I think she's trying to make sure that she's single and not like promised to anyone or anything like that. And she actually at the end of that meeting asked for a ribbon that Lilan was wearing, and that night Lilan had a dream where the son showed up and was like, hey, you know, I'm here to court you, and Lilan was like, no thanks, and he was like, well, I'll give you some time to like get used to this idea. And I think right now she just thinks it was a dream because a few nights have passed and she hasn't dreamed it again, but I'm assuming that this is kind of the beginning of this ghost trying to get her to marry him, and her probably not being interested at all because he seems kind of like a spoiled brat. On top of that, she did meet a servant while she was at the house. He was someone who was cleaning the clocks, and she talked to him a little bit, which she shouldn't, but she seems to be rather fond of him and thinks of him very frequently. So I'm wondering if there will be somewhat of a forbidden romance between the two of them. I will also mention that this family, all the sons in the household have at this point died, and so there is no heir other than the nephew of the family, and he's kind of been neglected by the family because obviously they've been focusing on their own sons, but now there's talk about him possibly getting married, and there's a part of me that is wondering if that servant is actually him. But we will see how it goes. So far I am definitely intrigued. The writing is nice, so I will go ahead and continue reading. I will say the text is relatively small, so it probably won't be the quickest read, but I have a feeling I will enjoy it. So that is my update for now. I will check in with you later tonight, probably to wrap up this vlog. So it is time to wrap up this vlog. It is a Friday night. I think it is almost 11. Yep, it is 10:50. I am ready to go to bed. But I just wanted to let you know a little bit about The Ghost Bride, which I think I was already telling you a little bit about. But at this point, I'm on chapter 9, page 78, and I will say I'm really enjoying this story so far. I feel like it's definitely just starting to ramp up. She has been brought to the, I guess you could consider it the ghost realm almost every night that she has fallen asleep, and she is kind of wandering around, and it seems that this groom bride is trying to show her all that he could offer her if she were to marry him, and that she would then live with his family, who is very wealthy, a lot wealthier than hers, and then every night she would come to him in the ghost realm, and she's like not interested at all in that. And on top of that, she has developed feelings for this man's cousin, the nephew that I mentioned earlier, who is now going to inherit the estate because all the other male children have passed away. And it does seem like he is reciprocating her feelings. I will say that there is technically no reason the two of them should be so drawn to each other. So I think it's very much just a romantic situation where there are two people who want to be together. They're could be considered soulmates, and there are just a bunch of unlucky events that are trying to keep them apart. I didn't think that this book would be so romantic, but it definitely has a romantic undertone, and I'm not saying I'm not enjoying that, because I am definitely intrigued to see what comes of that. As for her visits to the ghost realm, so far they've been pretty simple, nothing crazy. There haven't been like other ghosts there other than the groom bride. I guess I was kind of expecting a little bit of what I see when I'm reading Heaven's Official's Blessing when they go to the ghost realm, and there's a bunch of ghosts there, and there's a market and all that stuff. That, at least so far, is definitely not the case. But all the same, I am enjoying the writing. The story is definitely pulling me in, and I'm interested to see where it goes. One thing I noticed, and I don't know if it's of any importance, but I feel like the author has been mentioning religion a lot in this story, and so far she's mentioned Islam, she's mentioned Buddhism, Confucianism, the Angelicals, I think they're called, Catholics, and Taoists. So she's just like throwing out all these religions and stuff. And so far, it hasn't really played too much of a role in the story. So I'm not sure why she's bringing it up. But at the same time, our main character lives with her Amma, as I mentioned. And she's a very superstitious woman who very much believes in ghosts. And then on the other hand, her father is a Confucianist, and he doesn't believe in that stuff, like, whatsoever. And so I guess our character is very much being pulled between these two worlds. And this is a place that has been occupied by multiple colonists and is currently colonized by the British Empire. Because, like, who hasn't been? I don't know if they're actually part of China. The way that it's written, they kind of talk about China as if it's separate, and I almost feel like they are an island that is near China, and so they're part of China but also separate. So I do think that the historical setting is interesting, and I'm just wondering how much it'll go into religion, because otherwise I'm like, why are you like mentioning all of these religions? And I don't know, she's just trying to let us know that there is a lot of different beliefs that are all mingling in this area, and that there's a lot of different superstitions that could be the cause for what's happening. I did really like the last line of the chapter I just read, where she said, "It seemed to me that in this confluence of cultures, we had acquired one another's superstitions without necessarily any of their comforts," which I feel like is definitely something that seems to happen a lot where a new religion comes in, and it's seems to be more that its rules, regulations, and its form of oppression seems to be overpowering its devotion and its peace and its love of the being that it is worshiping. So I just thought that that was very interesting that the author pointed that out. But all the same, like I said, I'm really enjoying this book and reading it semi-fast considering how tiny the words are. So I'm excited to continue on with this. Now I ended up starting a new audiobook. I'm not really going to talk about it here because I read 22% of it while I was making dinner, but I just figured I'm going to talk about it more in the next vlog. But it was called, what was it called? A Merry Little Meet Cute. Yes, A Merry Little Meet Cute by Sierra Simone and Julia Murphy. And like I said, I got 22% through that while I was making dinner, and it's only like 10 hours long or so, but I am really enjoying it so far. So I'm looking forward to continuing that, and I will let you know more about that in the week 4 vlog. So check that out if you want to know my thoughts on that, or once it releases. So that means that I read a total of 168 pages today, and I actually ended up reading 3 hours and 43 minutes today. So I would say today was definitely my best. Now, to just go over my final results, I'm not going to go through day by day like I did with the others. I'm just going to let you know that I did not read 24 hours in 7 days, but I did read 20 hours and 29 minutes, which is a lot closer than I thought I would get, considering how often I was not reading the 3.5 hours that I was supposed to be reading to achieve this goal. In fact, I think I only read over 3.5 hours on 2 days, both on the first day, or no, on the second day and then on the last day. But I feel like 20 hours and 29 minutes is a pretty good. I ended up reading a total of 912 pages, which is also really good. One thing I will say about these challenges is that I'm not too mad about not achieving them or anything, but I definitely feel like they are pushing me to read a lot more than I normally would. So to me, they are accomplishing their goal, even if I'm failing at them, and that's totally fine. And I bring that up because I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to achieve next week's goal. So let's take a look real quick if I have it on file. All right, so it looks like during my week 1, I ended up reading a total of 971 pages. Then during last week's challenge, I only read a total of 689 pages. And then this week I read 912 pages. And the reason I bring this up is because next week's challenge is for me to read 1,000 pages in the week. So as you can tell, during all of these challenges, I have not achieve that at any point. I did get close during the first week and this last week, so we will see how we do. Hi baby. My cat is over there looking at me, wondering why I'm not sleeping like everyone else in the house. But yes, and that is the challenge. So I think I had to read like 125 pages a day, which sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. Hopefully with me listening to this audiobook, that will help. But I will admit that after this audiobook that I'm listening to, I don't have anything else lined up for audiobooks. So we will see how that goes. But that is the challenge for next week that you can go ahead and look forward to. But other than that, that is the end of this vlog. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video. As always, thank you so much for supporting my channel by watching my videos, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.